Hey, what's up? What's up? Gracious good morning to you good people. It's Monday. It's April 1st. It is 3:07 in the AM. And I want to talk about, generational curses, or I want to say just family dysfunction. You know, my last video was entitled Motivation for Self-Examination, and I said I was going to discuss self-examination in a follow-up, and so here it is. Yesterday, my sister and I had a conversation. I, if you can't tell, I love my sister to pieces. You know, my sister and I are super close. Even when I'm mad as all get out at her, you know, she knows she can count on me. And I'm like that with certain people that I really care about. They know that they can count on me. Yeah. You don't have to speak to me, especially if I'm angry. You don't have to speak to me. Just tell me what you need done or what you need, and just know I'm going to be there. Amen. Because my I love yous don't come cheap. My I love yous aren't temporary. Amen. I don't turn that off and on based on how I'm feeling or what you've done. You know, it's like I have to process my anger, sit with myself, do some self-examination, and you know, I guarantee that I always come back to the folks who matter. You know, and I am not the person who can't discuss what's going on with me. It's other folks who don't want to have that conversation, because I'm going to ask as many questions as it takes till I understand what transpired. And people don't want to do that because, you know, then they have to look at their accountability. Amen. And some of you know this to be true. I need you to really do some self-examination on that piece. Some of you know this to be true. I'm going to ask as many questions as it takes till I understand it, or understand your mindset. Now, not too long ago, had a falling out with somebody. I didn't fall out, I was present. Wanted to have a conversation, but their response told me I'm not worthy of their conversation or their time. And as I look back at things, I was never worthy of your time. You know, I was tolerated, I wasn't celebrated. Not that I require a lot, but I don't need anybody to tolerate me either. Amen. Because toleration or tolerating is conditional. It's based on how you're feeling and what's going on in your life. And, you know, when you love somebody, you show up, bottom line. So my sister and I were having this back and forth conversation about that and the generational curses and how our family does not talk about things, you know, or can't be held accountable. We just get silent and move on till a reasonable amount of time has expired, and then we kick back up. And, you know, I know we're not the only family that does that, but yeah, my sister and I can talk about this, you know, and, you know, I especially need to talk about this given my history of anger. And I want to say my history of anger is rooted in this, because I shared, I grew up with a father who was an abusive alcoholic. I mean, mentally, emotionally, and physically. You know, and he took his anger out on my mom a lot. And that's because he couldn't sit with his guilt for being a philanderer on top of everything else. Yeah. My father was present in the home, but I would much rather he wasn't. I would much rather he would have been one of those MIA dads, because he was MIA but physically present. You know, bottom line, my dad was a donkey. And I made up my mind at an early age that I wasn't going to be a punk, if you will. I made up my mind at an early age that no, I'm not taking these beatings. No, I'm not taking any kind of thing that you can't handle that you like to project. No, I'm not going to be your entertainment, because he set a dynamic for me and my brother that it just is not healthy. And to this day, I don't really speak or interact with my brother, because we were gladiators for my father. That's the kind of household I grew up in, and I need to be real about that. And see, people don't understand that, or people tell me, your anger is this, that, or the other. You don't understand. You don't know my story because you never asked my story. That story wasn't important to you. What I was doing for you was more important. So that self-examination works all the way across the board. I can tell you about me. But can you tell you about yourself? Or are you too busy being invested in my life? And I bring this up because this is how many of us approach our faith walk. We're invested in other people's sins, whatever they may be. I can talk about sin, and I do. But your sin is in your relationship between you and God. And I am very clear about that. This is what is considered sin. I'll define it. This is most likely the thing that you're struggling with because of this particular identified behavior. But again, it's your choice to fix it. We want to talk about autonomy, but we talk about autonomy in the sense that, I'm going to do what I want to do. And rarely does that autonomy involve repairing your relationship with Christ. You treat Christ like you treat who you call your friends here on this plane. And I'm here to told you, sometimes those relationships are very raggedy. Sometimes those relationships are very temporary. And a lot of times, more often than not, those relationships are gimmies, transactional. We have taken love to a point where, it no longer involves commitment or sacrifice. Amen.